talking free agent pickups and grading two-start starters here on the Friday edition of the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. Welcome to the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. Clay Link here with FSWA Hall of Famer Todd Zola. Kiss the ring. Todd, how are you on this Friday afternoon?
Ring? I have a plaque, but you can kiss the plaque. Doing well.
You need a ring too, I think.
I need to learn the secret handshake. We haven't been together as a group since since the award. It's just the way it's been. Doing well. My Red Sox aren't doing so well on opening day. Nice weather. My apartment search isn't going so well, but I'm doing fine.
Well, good luck with that apartment search, man. I know I hate moving more than just about anything, and so I feel your pain. And my Reds are with as far as the Red Sox go, 2-5 right now, and on Apple TV Plus for whatever reason, so I won't get to watch them tonight. I refuse to sign up for another streaming service. But by the way, I just had to start the show and to update people on Byron Buxton. Right knee soreness is what they're saying forced him from today's game. And if you saw it, he legged out a double, but then as he was sliding into second base, he hit the dirt. And did you say he audibly yelled something?
That's what I read. I have the game on, but without the sound, and I didn't even see the play. So I read it about I was such an idiot. I Buxton's hurt. I saw it on Twitter. Then wait a minute, I'm watching that game. I didn't even so what game is he in today? It didn't all click. Doing some work and had some distractions going on behind me earlier, which I think are over now. Fortunately, some work being done on the roof of the place as my landlords get ready to sell it. Hence my need for a new place to live.
I see. Yeah. Well, if that comes back, we understand, and don't beat yourself up about it, certainly. But yeah, that Byron Buxton news certainly not what people were wanting to see today, especially given the hot start he's on. And Teoscar Hernandez lost to the IL for at least 10 days. And I kind of feel like even though the idea of lineup protection's a little overblown, that this could have a ripple effect on that whole lineup for Toronto. Still one of the best in the game, but losing Teoscar hurts.
It does. You're replacing it with a Zimmer or Ramon Tapia or I don't know, something Biggio of that. Yeah. Well, I thought, Biggio Espinal, whichever one plays more, but for sure. But protection, that's really not really an argument for the day. I think it has to hurt, but they should be able to pick it up. Now I want to go back to a point, and because I'm confusing, I'm getting myself a little bit bamboozled. You mentioned 10 DIL. This is 15 for hitters and 10 for pitchers.
No, I believe so. Here's my understanding. We went digging on this recently because obviously for our admin, we need to have the correct designations. And we were all like, what the heck's the deal? So I believe that after the first month of the season, then it goes to 15 days for pitchers. So pitchers, if they're on the IL or optioned, it's 15. So that teams can't play this, one start skip thing. So at least that's my understanding. It's very up in the air because the implementation of the change did not come at the start of the season. Very weird.
Yeah, well, yes. There's and as we know, we don't like to do it in fantasy leagues, but MLB has no problem making rule changes in the middle of the season. So anyway.
Yeah, they make up the rules as they go along.
Yeah.
But Teoscar expects to miss approximately 2 weeks. He had a similar injury in 2020, and I think he may have had a minimum stay then. But yeah, expecting a 2-week absence, and I think you would be happy if you have Teoscar to get him back after only 2 weeks. Some pickups from last night's FAAB run in the RotoWire Stake League before we get into two-start starters for this week. Kyle Wright, I paid up for it $18. I also got Tanner Rainey at 13, so I was kind of aggressive here. I actually expected to be outbid by quite a bit on Rainey, but the interest was kind of timid in this 14-team mixed league. I got Rainey for 13. and Wright for 18, if I didn't mention that. So I was pretty happy to get those two. And Kyle Wright, I have high expectations for. We'll see how he fares tonight.
Yeah, I'm moderate with Kyle Wright. I like some of the things we're seeing. Velocity was up. Threw fewer sliders and more curveballs. Curveball was a higher velocity, which I haven't done this yet, but I want to check out a couple. That was Fangraphs classification. Sometimes that means it's just not being. It's curve and slider, more velocity. It could just be that it's being classified differently. So I want to look up at it doesn't all get classified the same. I want to look up another source to see if he's actually changed his mix or if there's something else going on. But cautiously optimistic, I suppose, with Wright. In some leagues, you have no choice but to go for it. Now, your leagues is the Thursday or Friday to Thursday league, right? So,
yeah, we have kind of weird lineup periods, Friday through Thursday, and then FAAB overnight, Thursday, Friday.
And you're getting 2 starts from him too, right?
Yeah, so that's
you're
nice
picking
for
up
this particularly.
$18 is a long-term pickup. That's not.
Yeah,
that's not. You don't pay 18 for a 2-start pitcher.
And as I told you, I had a trade in the works, and I actually went through this morning. So
right.
I traded Tyler Mahle for Joey Votto. Desperately needed a corner bat, so I kind of had that in the works when I bid 18 for Wright too. Kind of thinking, here would be a nice starter to get to replace Mahle. I don't expect him to be as good as Mahle, but I don't know if it'll be that far off.
I kind of like Mahle, but yeah, again cautious optimism. We've seen a lot of really good starts first start of the year, and then not so good, and vice versa. So cautiously
Kyle Wright could crap the bed tonight.
I don't know if it goes that far. Although, isn't that going to be a fun game? Isn't he up against Gore?
Yeah, that's right. Mackenzie Gore debuting tonight. Yeah, that'll be a really fun game. That'll be the game I'll watch instead of the Reds on Apple TV Plus or whatever. And yeah, Tanner Rainey just looks like he has the job. That's why I thought he would command a higher price. I thought 13 was kind of a keep him honest, but I was kind of happy to get him.
Yeah.
Yohan Duran was a pickup by James at 12 and Diekman at 11, Bard 11. So 4 straight closers or closer candidates anyway after Kyle Wright. Then G-Man Choi, Oscar Mercado, Owen Miller. Not a lot of exciting beyond those top players.
Considering that you paid, not a whole lot more for a guy who has the job, you got to like that. I mean, Duran, I understand the buzz. I mean, last year in 16 innings, he walked 13. I know his stuff is electric. The year before, there was no 2020. 37 innings, he walked 9. That's not so terrible. 78, walked 31. That's not so terrible. But control can be an issue. So, and to me, that's an aggressive bid. A bid on the come, which is fine. Maybe I'm not aggressive enough. And I'm number scouting. People like James actually scout. So there could be something to that too.
Mm-hmm. And as I mentioned, G-Man Choi, Oscar Mercado, Owen Miller, Lucas Sims, Jurickson Profar, Christian Pache, Jordan Hicks, Nico Horner. So not a lot that's really exciting. Brad Keller, Aaron Hicks, Austin Nola, Dalton Jeffries, Felix Bautista from our resident Orioles fan. I wonder what he sees there. Paul Blackbird's kind of interesting. I had him on my waterfall. He's up like 3 ticks. Robinson Cano I got, but I did not start him today, of course, and he homered this afternoon. Dropped Michael Conforto to get him, so I'm kind of punting those shares at this point. Seth Beer picked up Michael Taylor. We'll be talking more about pickups tomorrow on MLB Network Radio if you want to join us then. But anything else you want to mention before we get into 2-start starters, Todd?
Bautista, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk in 3 innings. I mean, Jorge Lopez has been given the job, but it's Jorge Lopez, although, maybe a different reliever. So, that's just as decent of a spec as some other players, right? I mean,
not a bad spec. Yeah, and he watches that team every night, so he's tuned in. So,
it's too bad.
Hey, I don't feel for him too much as a Reds fan, but all right, let's get into these 2-start starters. First, we'll take care of a little bit of business, and we'll be back after these brief messages. All right, welcome back to the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. Clay Link here with Todd Zola on this Friday afternoon, April 15th, and we're looking ahead to the starters for the week of April 18th, tax day. I still got to do my taxes this week.
Mine are due the 19th. Yeah, mine are due the
nice.
19th. So
okay, well, you got an extra day. Very nice. But yeah, with the week of April 18th, and if you're unfamiliar with this, we grade the two-start options on a 0 to 5 scale, 0 being hands off completely. And as I mentioned last week, I'm trying to scale more conservative this year. I just want to be protective of my ratios and not dig myself much of a hole that I have to spend time digging out of. I want to, I've already had a few blow-ups here and there. I don't want to compound those issues and really light my ratios on fire. So I'm going to be skewing a little bit lower with my grades, just to reiterate that point. But Todd, so Arizona, Mad Bum, Merrill Kelly, man, kind of getting some buzz, and he hasn't been bad since coming back from overseas, but maybe unlocking a new level here. 9 into third innings, 13 Ks, 4 walks, 0 earned runs. So what do you think? Are you buying in on Kelly before we get to specific grades? Are you buying in on this?
A couple of years ago, I was in. There was an increase in. There was something about it, an increase in velocity, something that piqued my interest between injuries and underperformance. Kind of forgot. I literally forgot about it because I don't remember what it was I liked. So I think he's on my watch list. Grades this week, man, I have him in the 0 range, but I'm not incorporating, season to date yet because it's such a small amount. I could see if you were not as unaggressive as you, that you could pick him up and go this week at Washington versus New York Mets. So I'm going to give him a 1, but I understand if you need to see more.
Yeah, I'm actually giving him a 1, even with the more conservative approach this year, just because, man, these matchups are not so bad. Washington looks like kind of a pushover, if I'm being completely honest. Obviously, Juan Soto in there makes them not a complete pushover, but they're looking like a team to pick on, if I'm being honest. The Washington Nats and the Mets don't really strike much fear. Mad Bum, I can see
0.
like in our Tout Wars head-to-head, but I guess if I'm giving Merrill Kelly a 1, I kind of have to give Mad Bum a 1.
Well, I guess. I mean, I have him in the 0 range as well, but
okay.
I'm gonna stay with the 0. No,
okay,
I don't like
Mad
it.
Bum. I hear you, man. See, I want to be more conservative, and yet I'm checking in higher than you in the early going. Oscar Inoa. See, I feel like this is another thing that bleeds into the idea of being more conservative. It's because a lot of these guys that we expect to make 2 starts don't actually end up making that second one. So I think we had Inoa on our list last week. Now we have him here again. Maybe this is the week he makes 2, but we'll see. At the Dodgers versus Miami, I don't think I can trust Oscar Inoa in those matchups. I think I'm going to give him a 0.
Oh, I'm going to go higher than 0. Now, I apologize. There was some work going on behind me. I'm going to hit my mute as often as I can. So if you on Facebook may see me lips moving, but I forgot to hit the mute button. But I'm going to go 2 with Dodgers are scary. Miami is not. And there's a potential to win anytime he pitches with that team. So I'm going to go 2 with Yanoa.
I was looking at early team stats, and I mentioned to you that the 2 team leaders in terms of runs scored are the Guardians and the A's, and Miami on the other side of that. There's some talk in spring about how they look so good as a team, and they're just not hitting at all through 6 games. I think they're averaging about 3 runs a game. So they need to get something going offensively there in Miami. For Baltimore, Spencer Watkins, brutal year last year, and his ERA over 54 and 2/3 innings was 8.07. So, I mean, that's not one where you need to really circle back, give him any more mind. That's a 0, Spencer Watkins. And what about, man, who is this? A. Wells? This is already where we're at with this Alexander Wells. Yeah, he pitched a little bit last year. 42 and 2/3 innings. He had a 6.75 ERA, so not all that much better than Watkins. Both 0s, right?
Yeah. Yep, for sure. I need to update my list because I had Tyler Wells going, not Alexander. Maybe they both are, but I don't have Alexander 2 starts. But I pulled my numbers a little earlier than you probably did.
Yeah, I just pulled this up. So yeah, keep in mind this is constantly changing. Our news crew, Adam Wolf, and others do just a tremendous job keeping this updated. So while we're giving our grades here, very tentative. Check back to the starters grid on Sunday before you do your FAAB bidding.
Actually, Meads isn't even on the list. Is he hurt?
Yes, he is hurt. He left a game earlier this week with an injury.
Okay,
he must be on the IL.
Yeah, that's the difference. Yeah, he was probably
he was placed on the IL today.
Okay, so that's okay. Once he did that, they flipped it up since I did mine. Okay, that's good to know. Well, I mean, it's not good that it happened, but
yeah, forearm tightness. And the injury has been clarified as an elbow strain. Yikes. So
yeah, well, all right.
That's not looking good for
speculation begin.
Yes. Are you talking about Grayson Rodriguez? Or just
I'm
Tommy
talking
John
about
surgery?
I'm talking about Tommy John. But yeah, that as well. That as well.
Yeah, anytime you hear elbow strain, that's
yeah,
really bad. I guess sprain means tear in the ligament, right? But strain still is bad as well. For the Boston Red Sox, so they got the Rich Hill Garrett Whitlock tandem. So I guess let's include Whitlock, and I think he'd be like he's been great. So in that piggyback role, wouldn't Whitlock be like a 3 at least?
If not higher.
Yeah.
If that's for sure what the Red Sox are going to do. I
guess that's not for sure, but we do have them bolded for Monday, so I guess that would mean for sure they're locked into that situation on Monday.
Yeah, but I think what happens if Whitlock is needed over the weekend, then maybe they're not. I don't know how strictly Alex Cora is committing to this. I mean, what if he's needed over the weekend, Whitlock? So I don't know that he pitched in between the last time. I mean, he went 4 innings, so he may have thrown in in the equivalent of a bullpen. But I want to pick up Whitlock more than I want to pick up who the starter that I just mentioned that I would go with.
I'm sorry, I must have missed that.
That's all right. The Arizona guy,
Kelly,
Merrill Kelly. Yeah. I'd rather pick up Whitlock than Kelly.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Whitlock's looking like, even though the roles in the bullpen, being that tandem role really actually is pretty nice for fantasy. Yeah. So I think he should be universally rostered at this point. Nathan Eovaldi versus Toronto, and then at Tampa Bay. It's a pretty good 2-step for him. Toronto scares you, of course, but I think I'll give Eovaldi a 3.
Toronto more than scares me. I think it's not quite the same as Coors.
Without Teoscar, but
I don't remember. Well, even so, I don't remember if I mentioned this last week, but I think getting a game. Well, this is at home, but escaping a game in Coors is in Rogers Center is kind of like escaping a game in Coors. I've got Eovaldi ranked inside the top 20. That puts him as an air quote 5, but I'm going to go with a 4 because I don't know that he's worthy of a 5 yet. So I'm going to give him a 4. And he didn't look all that great so far. But again, early this, that, the other thing, we'll give him a 4.
Yeah. I think, I guess I'd rather have him. I have both him and Whitlock 3s, but I think that's pretty close, like straight up, honest to God, for next week.
Okay, well, that's fine.
We'll see, though. We'll see. I got them both 3s, and I got you down as a Whitlock 3 and Eovaldi 4. So on to the Chicago Cubs, Kyle Hendricks. Great opening day, and then we got bad Kyle Hendricks again in his second start. He's versus Tampa Bay versus Pitt. That second start that looked like such a layup was against Pitt. So, you can't really count on Kyle Hendricks to even make his layups, but this does look pretty good. I think I'll give him a 2. I can't give him the same grade as Eovaldi, I don't think, but I'll give Hendricks a 2.
Yeah, so he comes out 23 on the list as well. I'm going to have to adjust how the scores for you and where they come on the list because that, the old way did it's a 4. I'm going to give him a 3. I can't go 1 to 20 as a 5, 21 to 60, or 21 to 40 as a 4. I can't do that this year. So we'll give Hendricks a 3. Both at home. Wrigley Field plays small early on, so we'll give him a 3 and just hope that the tunneling Kyle Hendricks shows up.
I saw that the pitching ninja bestowed a great nickname on Justin Steele, calling him Justin Valerian Steele, reference to Game of Thrones. So I almost feel like Justin Steele may follow the Game of Thrones trajectory in that he's starting well, but I don't think he's going to finish well. I thought that series fell apart, and Justin Valerian Steele, I feel like, is going to, and there's only one way to go for him, right? So got a 1.93 ERA, can only get worse versus Tampa Bay versus Pitt. I think I'll still have to give him like a 1.
I'll give him a 1. I'm giving him a 1. Yeah, okay, I'll give him a 1.
I think that's fair. We'll see if he's, if he shows something more, maybe I'll buy in a little bit. But right now, I'm not really paying much mind to Justin Steele. If I was really desperate, maybe. So I'll give him a 1 since that's the case. We didn't talk about Nick Lodolo among our pickups. I think that's probably because he's owned in most of our leagues, but a little bit of a rocky debut for him. I thought the stuff looked pretty good, and he was delayed by rain for like an hour and a half. So circumstances working against him. At San Diego versus St. Louis, I like this, but I think I'll give him a 3. Am I being a little overly optimistic on Lodolo?
Well, he ranks as a 3, but I've been going against him, at least on my system. Yeah, isn't it funny how the devil we don't know, we're more likely to rank a little higher.
Yeah,
I'll stick with the 3. Neither San Diego nor St. Louis frightens me. They both can get you for sure. One's at home against San Diego, then on the road. No, opposite. Against San Diego at home, and then on the road against St. Louis. So I didn't catch any of the start, but we'll go with a 3.
See, I'm saying at San Diego, then home against St. Louis. But
yeah, I said that backwards.
Okay,
yeah.
I just wanted to clarify.
I am too. I'm sorry. I'm saying I see a lot. I saw the time that we're going to do this backwards today. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of things backwards. So anyway,
don't beat yourself up. And not a 2-star guy for next week, but I was really encouraged by what I saw from Ray versus San Martin last night, pitching in the follower role. So while Luis Sessa put them in an early hole as the opener, I thought San Martin really looks a lot better, and maybe they found a good role for him for the time being. Kind of bring him in after the game gets started. Everything's kind of settled down a little bit. I know he had some nerves on opening day. Shane Bieber, Tristan McKenzie for the Cleveland Guardians. So they're versus the White Sox at the Yankees. Pretty tough, but I think Bieber, I'm not willing to put him in that 5 just yet because his velo is still a little down. But if he shows another start or two that he's the old Bieber, I mean, he'll be back in that 5 range. And I think Tristan McKenzie is going to be a 3 for me, even in these matchups.
I agree with Bieber. I mean, he's going to be ranked as if he's a 5 within my rankings, but it's what I have to. The separation is they're ranked for the week, and 2 starts help you that week. If you consider how they help you over the course of the season, you can veer away from the weekly rankings. McKenzie, I'm not like what I see, but I guess I just need to see a little more. At New York scares me. I'm going to go 2, but push comes to shove, I'd probably play him.
All right, so you're on board with Bieber 4, and then you got you said McKenzie 2, right?
Yeah. I'm not convinced he's going 5 in both games yet, which is really crushes the the 2-start week too.
Yeah, then Chad Kuhl looks like he's at home against Philly, and then at Detroit. I think any sort of home start for Chad Kuhl takes him out of the mix. So that's a 0 for me.
Any kind of start takes him out of the mix for me.
Right, one more time.
Where it is. I said any kind of start in general takes him out of. No, I know that there have been people that are waiting for Chad Kuhl to, re-show those flashes of mediocrity that he once displayed, but I've never been on the Kuhl bandwagon.
Yeah, he
literally and figuratively. I've never been on the Kuhl bandwagon.
I tried to be once in high school, but I failed. But no, Kuhl had that fastball for a while, right? Like I remember when he was with Pittsburgh, people kind of liked his fastball, but it never really panned out for him. Dallas Keuchel, Jimmy Lambert are both going to be 0s for me.
Yeah, no sense of belaboring the point there. Yeah,
I want to see. I mean, where's Johnny C? Get Cueto up. I guess he's not quite ready yet, but
yeah.
I mean, starting Jimmy Lambert. and they're like the shoe-in for the AL Central. I'm not so sure.
Not anymore.
For Detroit, Erod versus the Yankees versus Colorado. So a couple of home starts. You love getting Colorado on the road, and or I guess Colorado is on the road, not Erod on the road, but versus the Yankees still kind of tough. So I think I'm going to give Erod a 3.
I'm going to go with 2.
Me.
The Red Sox kind of babbipped them. They got. It was one of those games where you get a couple of bleeders and then a blast. You know what I mean? We see it all the time. He should be out of the inning, and just that you say, "Wow, he's getting some bad luck." Well, then you give up a home run. Kind of what happened with Rodriguez.
And I believe Luis Garcia, the Astros, was on this list last week. Was he not? This is just bound to happen, not only with teams shuffling things around, but with rain delays, rain outs. This is just bound to happen.
Well, he was he did get hurt, or the second start, or he was out. Yeah, and he does have 2 starts this week. He only pitched 4 innings last week.
Yeah, didn't he only have 2 Ks?
4 innings, depending on the opponent.
1 K, 1 strike.
Yeah, when it's a 4 innings and you've been hurt, I don't get too goofy over it.
Was Luis Garcia hurt? I didn't realize he was hurt.
There was some. I think it was in the NFBC. There was some denotation. Maybe it was neck. I thought he was denoted as being hurt. I hope it's not a mistake on their part, and they're pulling in the red suitcase from the San Diego Luis Garcia.
Yeah, because I'm not seeing anything about him being hurt.
Okay,
but he did throw 4 innings only and only 1 K. So maybe
I have.
Maybe we just don't know about.
Well, no, I mean, it could have been that I was looking at the San Diego one and I made another mix-up. But anyway, so.
A lot of Luis Garcias. Whenever we mention Luis Garcia in a note, this little thing pops up where we have to choose the right one out of 5. What were you going to say? Yeah.
So there's 5.
Yeah.
Why can't one of them be Giancarlo?
Or maybe we could just start using middle initials. I don't know. But I actually, versus LAA, versus Toronto, I like Garcia. I have a lot of them. I'm starting him, but I don't feel so great about it after the 1K 4-inning debut. So I guess I'll begrudgingly give him a 2.
I was trying to figure a reason not to give him a 4. And the reason is he's not going deep into games yet. So I'm going to go 3.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, and I may lower my innings projection to lower him on the chart because I have him 24th overall, 23rd overall right now. But 2 starts will do that to you.
No 2-start starters for the Angels. They're going 6-man. They have a day off. So they all check out. And then the LA Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw. What a season debut for him. Perfect through 7. Before we get to the grades, do you have any hot takes or strong opinions on that decision?
It was the right. It stinks, but it was the right decision. It does. I mean, it's a shame, but it's the right decision.
And I have no problem with it because he seemed to have no problem with it. And he said, the Dodgers said, don't pick up a ball until January. Look, I mean, maybe he's just saying what needs to be said publicly, but at the same time, I think what he wants more than anything is to be healthy and helping them in the postseason. So, it would have been nice and kind of cool, but if a week from now, if they'd let him stay in, then a week from now he's hurt, the backlash would be even more substantial.
I guess you can argue leave him in until he lets a batter up, until he has a batter on. But then what do you get up to 95 pitches and it's, do you take him, at some point? Yeah, no. So, yeah, I mean, you
leave him in there and then some guy has a 10 pitch at bat and
no. So I think
too much.
You're right. I think it stinks because it does reinforce that, he's a pretty good pitcher. Sometimes we forget that he's a pretty good pitcher.
I was a little surprised just how dominant he was. 12 Ks. I know, he's kind of been working with this formula for a while now, Kershaw, where he has diminished velocity, but it seems like maybe he's just found the perfect sweet spot with the curve and the pitch mix to make up for the declining velo. Don't worry about the innings with him.
Yeah, for a while, once the launch angle revolution came into effect, I think people just kind of teeing off like I'm either going to strike out or hit it out of the park, and I think he may have made an adjustment to that. But I mean, to me, there's going to be a few of them this week, but I think he's my first 5. I think he warrants that.
Yep, I'm going to give Kershaw 5 too. So Clayton Kershaw 5. Both of our first 5s of the day. By the way, I was just looking at the box scores from this afternoon's games, and it seemed like the Mets in Arizona were kind of close. Now it's 10-3 Mets. So Cano homer, a Lindor double dong game. So 2 homers for Lindor. Starling Marte homered. Eduardo Escobar drove in a run on a double. So Mets have blown this one open, and the Twins lead 6-1 over your Red Sox. Sorry to say.
Yeah, I know.
Verdugo did homer, though, earlier in that game, so that's nice to see. All right, so Kershaw is a 5. Next up, Jesus Luzardo, the talk of the town. I heard James say with Jeff, like, I guess aside from Kershaw followed it up with a pretty similar outing, actually. Their final lines looked pretty similar. I guess Kershaw went 7 and Luzardo went 5, but they both had 12 Ks. And James, what he said to Jeff was that this may have been the most dominant outing we've seen from anyone all year, Luzardo. I guess until Kershaw stepped on the mound. But Luzardo looked phenomenal versus St. Louis at Atlanta. I think you got to give him a 4.
Yeah, he's down in my rankings because I'm still basing it off of expectations. So in my head, he's a 4. I'll give him a 4. On the sheet, he's a 3. Selfishly, I hope he's a 6, because I think I mentioned it's all about me. In the XFL, it's kind of it's a hybrid keeper dynasty league. I traded Jacob deGrom last year in a dumping package and got back Luzardo. And there were some other pitchers I could have gotten, but I felt he was the one that I wanted for the next 5 years. I've been, buyer or sellers or whatever remorse over the course of the winter, but so far so good. I mean, if the league ended today, I'd win the XFL. Talk to me in October.
Yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Luzardo. And if you grabbed him, I mean, you're just loving this. You're going to ride this train till the wheels fall off. But I do wonder if maybe those wheels do fall off at some point, because you got to think about his injury history. You at least have to be aware that he had Tommy John before he was drafted. He had shoulder and lat trouble in 2019, then broke his pinky playing video games last year. So, everything's great now, but, rest of the season, you do have to be, I think, modest with your innings workload.
And I think Miami has the inventory to backfill, and I'm not saying, pretend you got hurt again playing a video game will put you on the IL, but, with Edward Cabrera is not exactly a bastion of health either. With Mayer, though, they've got enough backfill that I think they could find ways to cleverly give Luzardo some extra rest.
Before we move on, we have a question in the chat from Cali Loco. Put it on the screen here if you're watching on YouTube. Do you think Robles gets the closer job in Boston?
I think it was situational. We certainly won't find out today. It was situational the last time that he came in and got. I think it's a shared scenario
with Diekman.
Yeah, and we still don't know long term what's going to happen. So I think short term, Robles will get some saves. Core happens to like him, and I know he's pitched better in Boston than he has elsewhere. But that last game, Diekman was needed to put out the Detroit Fire in the 8th, leaving it for Robles in the 9th. So he's going to get saves like that, but I don't think he's the guy. I mean,
not ready to say
I have a feeling
clear number 1.
Yeah, I'm prescient here. I have a feeling that tomorrow on MLB, we're going to talk about some closers, and I'm going to talk about actually wanting Tanner Rainey over Diekman / Robles, because at least he has it. I just feel as though we're going to talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, he might have a good sense of that. Maybe we've already recorded the show.
Oh, no. Don't go behind the fourth wall.
You tear that fourth wall down plenty. And
I think people, it sounded like they were tearing a wall down while we were talking. But anyway, neither here nor there.
Good point. Real quick, a word from our sponsors. Hope you'll bear with me. Then we'll get to the rest of these 2-star pitcher grades, and we'll recap the grades at the end of the show. Better Edge. Bet against others with no fees involved. That's right. No pesky hidden fees to ruin your day. Better Edge is a social betting marketplace where there's no fee on each transaction. Better Edge is a social betting marketplace, and chances are it's legal in your state. We bring betting back to its social roots where you can like, comment, and challenge other users all within the app. Play without getting played at Better Edge. That's BETTOR edge.com. Again, BETTOREDGE.com. Sign up today. Baseball is back. That's right. An entire glorious season, all 162 games. And live events resuming, you can actually be there to catch all the action in person with vivid seats. Every backdoor slider, every round tripper, and every doubleheader can be experienced live. And with Vivid Seats rewards, you can start earning free tickets from your very first purchase. Just buy, collect stamps, and redeem. It's that easy. From behind the dugout to upper level, Vivid Seats has you covered for all the games that matter to you. And here's a pro tip. Buy tickets for your whole group, split the bill, and make progress towards your free ticket even faster. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, life happens live. All right, Todd, back to the two-start starters for the week of April 18th. Brewers, I know they're starting Aaron Ashby, and it kind of seems like maybe they go six-man again. I think that was the idea originally, but I guess with some off days, they had Ashby in the bullpen. So no two-start starters for them. In Minnesota, Dylan Bundy, he's got a spotless ERA right now, but he's at Boston versus the White Sox. He allowed 1 hit and 5 in his debut, only 2 Ks. Not enough for me to trust him at Boston and not the White Sox. So he's a 0 for me.
Yeah, if you got lucky and started him that first game, congrats. Like me, I'm a Bundy apologist.
I got to tip my hat to you. That's a good
I'm not starting him this week. No, the thing with Bundy is home run pitcher in a park that doesn't give up home runs. I thought he's worth a look. I forget why I had him in the active lineup the first week. Maybe it was against a team that doesn't hit a lot of homers. I don't know. I'm not keeping him in this week. So I'm going to give him a 1, but it's going to take really desperate situation to start him.
All right. I got you down for a 1. On to the Mets. I said that I really want to reserve 5s for the elite tier of group of starters. So Scherzer falls in that bin clearly for next week versus San Fran and at Arizona.
Yep.
Tyler McGill's not there yet for me in terms of, track record. We just haven't seen it. But I think with these matchups versus San Francisco at Arizona, I think I'm going to have to bend my rule a little bit. And even though I don't have Tyler McGill in that 5 bin quite yet, I think with the matchups, he's a 5.
I have him ranked 12th overall, so air quote 5, but I'm going to stick with it. He's not an ace, at least not yet proven. I'm going to go 4.
You're going to go 4 on McGill? Okay.
But I'm starting him. I'm just not giving him
You're not giving him the highest.
I'm not giving him the hat tip of a 5 just yet. You have to earn that. You have to earn that from Zola. But
I do too. Yeah, I think so too. But San Francisco doesn't scare me at home.
No, it's in a good park. It's a really good. It's a 5 matchup. But I'm gonna stick to my vices and give him a 4.
I like the tweet from Frank Stample of CBS earlier this week, noting that, in his opinion, Garrett Cole without the sticky stuff is mid, as MJF would say, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. But that's, obviously kind of a joke. But really dating back to that sticky stuff crackdown, the numbers have been so great. I still have Cole's a 5.
Careful. First couple after this crackdown, he struggled.
We're a little iffy, yeah.
Then
so far this year, he's been a little shaky,
right. Well, bounced back, and then he got hurt. Now, the question is, did pitchers start to find ways to reapply, to get away with the sticky stuff? And in which case they're not getting away with it this year. That's the concern. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to go so far as to say, he's number 1 on my list this week. We just don't have enough information otherwise. At Detroit, and Cleveland's going to call. Believe it or not, the Guardians' offense is not going to stay as high as they are right now.
You don't think they're going to lead the league?
I'm going on a limb. I'm going on a limb here. They're going to come down. Sorry, that's why they pay me the medium bucks.
I'm not saying Cole's mid, but again, I have him 5, but this is kind of like an ongoing storyline now. It feels like
Yeah,
something we got to watch for.
yeah. No, for sure.
I got him 5 too. What about for the A's? Frankie Montas, Cole Irvin. I think Montas is probably a 3 for me, but Cole Irvin I can't really trust yet, so I think he's probably a 0, honestly.
I'm trying to decide why not to give Montas a 5.
Okay.
I mean, I think he's.
I guess I've always kind of been just lower on Montas, but the matchups are great.
The matchups are fantastic, and they're so good that I don't even. Oakland's going to be not favored in most of their games. I think he's in play for. I'm going to go 5. I mean, he's the 6th overall. I can make exceptions where my rankings are. I have him number 6, so I can't not give him a 5.
I got you. And Irvin, are you giving him a plus number or no?
Yes, but not. I don't think it's going to be a lot higher than a 1. But well, it's 51 overall. I'm going to give him a 2. Those matchups are just too good, and the park is fine. So I got to give him a 2. But I'm probably, I would go out and pick up Irvin and I understand what you're saying, and I believe in it. The part about being more conservative. If for whatever reason you feel you need 2 starts, that's what I'm going after this week. It's just the matchups are too good not to.
Aaron Nola gets a trip to Colorado to start next week. That kind of stinks. And then he's versus Milwaukee. I think if you drafted Nola, you don't really have a choice. I guess I'll give him a 4 just because he's Aaron Nola, but that first start really scares you.
First of all, I mean, we could discuss, is he really Aaron Nola right now?
Yeah, right now he's been
you
pretty
could justify a 3. I mean, you could justify a 3 and by saying he's a really good pitcher, he's a little bit struggling, and he's in Colorado. Not 5 go down to a 4, down to a 3 because he's not pitching well. I'm going to stick with the 4, but I can, if someone would have said that, if someone says I'm sitting in this week, I'm not saying you're making a bad move.
See, I hear you, but if I had Nola, I just can't see a scenario
where
I'm starting
him.
Swap him out of my lineup.
I'm starting him, and I do have him, but I'm not gonna, even under my breath, snicker if someone were to say I'm benching him this week.
Yeah, if you're stacked, if you're in like a 10-team league and you can afford to plug in another quality option, why not? So for the Pirates, Zach Thompson, JT Brubaker. I picked up Brubaker I guess I drafted him in the reserve rounds of my main event, and I was thinking, there'll be some spots to use him at home. Ugh, probably not. So he'll probably be a drop for me. I think these guys are both probably 0s.
You see,
you like Brubaker's skills, but
you have me with this whole, I mean, if one's playing conservative, they are. I'm gonna go with a 1 for Brubaker. Probably a mistake, but I'm going to go 1 and 0.
Okay, probably fair on Brubaker. I think I will probably just cut bait this weekend rather than deploy him. Sean Manaea, nice start with the San Diego Padres so far. 1-1 with a 1.38 ERA. He gets Cincinnati at home and then the Dodgers at home. So that first one's a nice landing, and then the second one not so much. But I think Manaea's earned a rock solid 3 for me.
I'm going 5. I mean, yeah. To me, he's in that ace category. When you start rock solid, I expected you to say 4, and I could argue a 4 because of the Dodgers, but I'm going 5.
See, I'm not quite there on believing in Manaea, but he has been great since.
It might be confirmation bias because I do have a lot of Montas and Manaea, so it may be some confirmation bias with that. But I'll stick with it because I have him ranked 10th overall.
Well, he's a lefty facing the Reds, so Aristides Aquino will be in the lineup, and so you can pencil in at least 4 Ks, and then
in a strikeout. 4 Ks and a home run. That's not bad.
Yeah. Robbie Ray's velo is a little down, not like as much as Julio Urias, but it is down a little bit. Versus Texas, versus KC. I guess if you have Robbie Ray, he's a 5. I don't have him anywhere, but I guess I'll give him a 5 until he falls apart again.
3rd overall. I mean, you mentioned the velocity being down. The first 2 games were kind of cold, clammy weather. I'm going to give him a mulligan. I'm going to give him a 5.
And for the Giants, Alex Cobb and Logan Webb, and they just keep churning out great starters. And Alex Cobb's been around a while, but it seems like he's found a new level. He's throwing harder. He gets matched up against Tyler McGill, but I think Cobb is. I guess I'll give Cobb a 4. I like Cobb this week. And Logan Webb, I think if we're redoing drafts right now, he'd have to kind of be in that second ace tier, don't you think? Logan Webb
should be in that conversation. He was my he was my kind of target in the 4th or 5th round when I wasn't when I didn't take pitching early. So 5 for Webb, 4 for Cobb.
Yeah, Webb's fantastic, and I think just the lack of track record worked against him on a lot of people's minds in drafts because projections probably won't have him as high. But I was with you, and I got him in the main in round 4, so I'm thrilled with him as my ace in round 4. Jordan Hicks, electric arm, and he does have a win already. Did that? Huh. So he must have. Okay, he got the win in relief. Yeah, so he's only thrown 2 innings so far, and I just, without him built up enough to get a win as a starter, no interest in Jordan Hicks. He's a 0.
Yep. I mean, you don't hate the matchups, but he's a 0.
Shane McClanahan at the Cubs versus the Red Sox. So the Cubs don't look like as much of a pushover as expected, but I still think McClanahan's, gosh, I guess I have to give him a 4.
Yeah.
He carried away with a 5 quite yet.
Yeah, he had one of those interesting outings where he looked like he was going to throw a perfect game, but he just kind of lost it. So Cubs in Boston. I'm going to rank 16th, but no, I can't go the 5 with him yet, so I'm going to go 4.
And John Gray, they put on the IL, but they didn't bring up a replacement in the rotation. So just with off days, they were going 4. So John Gray expected back on Tuesday against Seattle, and assuming they keep things on schedule with their rotation, he'd be at Oakland to close the week. Just given that he's coming back from the blister and, that's such a short absence, no rehab. I don't know if Gray is going to be capable of going 5 in that first one. So kind of like John Gray this year, but I think I'm going to give him a 2 for this return week from the IL.
I have got him ranked 12, but I think I'm with you.
Really?
I think I have too many innings.
Okay. Yeah.
And the way my system works, if I drop below 5, it really crushes. Well, because it should crush the wins. It doesn't completely. I don't think I explained this to this detailed in the piece I wrote about the rankings. But if I project, 4 2/3 innings, oh no, he can't get the win. But to me, that's like anywhere between 4 1/3 and 5 1/3. So there is, it's a range. So within that range, he could get the win. But anyway, the point being, I've got him that high, but I have to knock his innings down.
I want to be clear though that I don't know for sure that he can't go 5.
No, I don't either. I mean, I don't either. I mean,
I'm just playing a little safe because he is on the IL right now.
I've been asking Pete Shanky for a crystal ball for the years I've been with you folks, and he keeps telling me it's on back order. So I mean, anyway, but the point being, I think I'm too aggressive. Yeah, I got him 5 innings, drop him down to 4 innings, drop him down to 4 innings up here. Yeah, I'm going to go with a 3. Because I'm with you, and I do like the matchups. But I'm just curious what happens. I just drop him to 4. I'll find him. We can go on to the next guy, and I will find where he's ranked.
In the RotoWire Stake League, where you have Friday through Thursday lineup periods, I benched him for that 1 start. At Seattle, we'll see how stretched out he is in his return from that blister, and then maybe I can deploy him for that Oakland start. But managers in typical Monday through Sunday leagues will have a more difficult decision to face. John Gray. You say Kikuchi. I've always kind of been a Kikuchi apologist, but even here I have to say 0. Like I can't, in good consciousness, recommend you start Kikuchi at Boston, at Houston.
Oh man, I want to say 1, but no, you're right. Or you know what? It was later in the year, maybe, but I keep using the word desperate. You can't be that desperate this early in the year.
No.
Right? You just can't be.
If you have a sense of desperation at this point, just go take a bath or something, walk the earth.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I'm going to go 0, but gosh, it's going to be a painful 0 when I do have to take him out.
Wouldn't it be just classic Kikuchi for him to have like 2 gems when he's on your bench?
Yeah, it'd be classic Zola to have him on my bench for those 2 gems. But
I'm sorry.
Say in an AL only, you kind of leave him in and just hold your breath.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I think in AL only I could see it. I'm still going to go 0 just to
Yeah.
I want people to avoid any blowups there. Josiah Gray, an even 4 ERA so far versus Arizona versus San Francisco. Not bad. Let me just double check on him. So yeah, he 5 against the world champs. Granted, the world champs don't have Freddie Freeman, so it's not really or Ronald Acuna, so it's not really it's a little misleading to say, oh, he had 5 scoreless against the defending champs. It's not quite that same lineup, but that is a nice step forward for Josiah Gray, and I think just given his growth, I will give him a complimentary 1.
Afraid you were going to say like 3 at that point. Yeah.
Go higher.
Yeah. I have him ranked in the 0 range, but I am with you. It's not, I mean, it hasn't incorporated, do I know he's going to be better than I thought? Not yet, but he probably will be. So I'm going to give him a 1.
Finally, Yohan Adon. I don't know for sure if I'm saying that right, but I don't think it's Joan. So Yohan Adon, 0 for me.
Yeah, he's actually the lowest ranked 2-start pitcher on my board. So,
well, fitting that he'd be last on our list then here. All right, so to recap the 2-start pitcher grades for the week of April 18th, 2022. Madison Bumgarner, I say 1, Todd 0. Merrill Kelly, 1. Oscar Inoa, I say 0, Todd 2. Spencer Watkins, 0. Alexander Wells, 0. Garrett Whitlock, 3. Nate Eovaldi, I say 3, Todd 4. Kyle Hendricks, I say 2, Todd 3. Justin Valerian Steele, 1. Nick Lodolo, 3. Shane Bieber, 4. Tristan McKenzie, I say 3, Todd 2. Chad Kuhl, 0. Dallas Keuchel, 0. Jimmy Lambert, 0. Eduardo Rodriguez, I say 3, Todd 2. Luis Garcia of the Houston Astros, I say 2, Todd 3. Clayton Kershaw back in the 5 bin. He's a 5 for this week. Jesus Luzardo, 4. Dylan Bundy, I say 0, Todd 1. Tyler McGill, I say 5 given the matchups, but Todd 4. Max Scherzer, 5. Garrett Cole, 5. Frankie Montas, I say 3, Todd 5. Cole Irvin, I say 0, Todd 2. Aaron Nola, 4. Zach Thompson, 0. JT Brubaker, I say 0, Todd 1. He's probably a cut for me in the main event this weekend. Sean Manaea, I say 3, Todd 5. Robbie Ray, 5. Alex Cobb, 4. Logan Webb, 5. Jordan Hicks, 0. Shane McClanahan, 4. John Gray, I say 2, Todd 3. Yusei Kikuchi, 0. Josiah Gray, 1. Yohan Adon, 0. So great stuff today, Todd. Thanks for bearing with me as we go back-to-backs with this recording session on Friday. Anything else?
You bear with me this week. Well, we bear with each other, but my friends are back over my shoulder again, wrapping things up. So anyway,
well, it's always a pleasure, man, and thanks for sharing your insight. Anything else on your mind today?
Check out Tout Table this weekend. We're asking people what do they look for early in the season, who are they worried about. And Tout Daily starts tonight. I used to be good at this. I need to get good again. I'm starting to do some. It's not the bat, Derek Carty's the bat. It's a very toned down version. It's like the fungo, my version. It could break very easily. You only use it in circumstances and
all caps fungo.
Yeah, more for practice, and it can break pretty easily if you use it in the game. But I'm going to use the fungo in Tout Daily tonight and see if I can recapture some of my old magic and get back. And we play a league, and I'm a big fan of the DFS leagues. So anyway, getting back at that. It's usually Tuesdays, but this week it's Friday because I wanted to give people an extra couple of days to sign up.
Well, good luck. And it's funny that you'd mentioned Derek Carty because we have him booked for tomorrow's XM show. So James and I will be talking with Derek Carty, creator of the Bats and the Bat X.
If he hears the fungos out there, he may, I don't know, he may have to
just
go
shut down operations.
Yeah, the fungo anyway.
I like that. That's good. I don't know if I've ever got my hands on a fungo bat. Swung a lot of different bats over the years. Wiffle ball. Yeah. Baseball, but I don't know.
It's weird. It feels weird. Back in the day would hit batting. I'd get infield practice with it. So yeah, it does feel weird though.
But yeah, check us out 1 to 3 tomorrow with Derek Carty on the show, Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, and Jason Collette will be on the show as well in his normal time slot at 2:30. And check us out, Todd and I, on MLB Network Radio tomorrow if you get a chance. We're here to help. Let us know if you have questions for us, anything we can address in future shows, and hope you'll join us next Friday on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast.